Thank you very much, Simon. Before giving the floor to Eva and Peggy, I would like to highlight a couple of topics that is important to underscore. The first one, that the call was very explicit, saying that after developing, the conceptual model and mapping the level of maturity, we are supposed to start our intervention in the country more needing given the low level of maturity of comprehensive cancer infrastructure, more needing an intervention. The second point, as you said, as a viewer, have listened, the capacity building program is a quite complex intervention, and we were very aware of the fact that we should produce some kind of empirical data in order to demonstrate the actual effect, impact of the capacity building in terms of capability to change the level of maturity. So please take in consideration these 2 points when listening the next, and for our point of view, last presentation, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for the possibility to present the work of Work Package 2 in CCI for EU. So I am Eva Jolie, and I am here representing the lead team of Work Package 2, that is also my colleagues from the German Cancer Society and from the Technische University of Dresden. And I've also asked Peggy Richer from Dresden University to, more in depth, as an expert, explain and walk us through the maturity model. But just a quick overview of the work from our Work Package 2. We had the objectives to develop a joint understanding, but also a definition and scope of the comprehensive infrastructures. And alongside with that, to set the criteria to assess and to approve, to assess and improve CCIs in all member states. So really that is about that the criteria we will use to form the base of where the assessment and the improvements were set. But also to be able to really measure the maturity of the participating CCIs, or as we would like to say, we talk a lot about CCIs, but many are saying it is maybe a potential CCI because it's a new concept. So we also try to remember to say in potential CCIs. But to embed these defined quality criteria into a maturity model, because within that maturity model we will be able to assess the maturity of the participating potential CCIs, but also that will be the base of these tailored interventions that Simon just described. So the work from the Work Package 2 was to work together with experts in different working groups within the themes that we have also heard about earlier in Simon's presentations. So we had experts of all the 8 themes, and they were selected by the members within this CCI for EU. And we worked. The first meetings were during the summer of 2023, and we had around 3 meetings per expert groups working from the themes, creating the criterias. And throughout the work of Work Package 2, and I would say the CCI, is really the maturity model as a golden thread. So it has helped us to structure the criteria of the comprehensive cancer infrastructures. It will be the base of assessing the maturity of the potential CCIs. It will also give us an overview of the maturity in the CCIs in the development of the member states, including I would say kind of complex scoring system. But through that, we hope that we more quickly can identify the themes and criteria with the potential for improvement in the individual CCIs. But it's of course building on data analysis and decisions to really select those CCIs or potential CCIs that have also been willing to and have I would say struggling to find the right word.
Wasn't it readiness for change?
Exactly, or have shown an availability or that they want to be part of this capacity building structure or interventions. And the maturity model will also show where the defined or the interventions will do best, have the best effect, because of what Simon showed, and also Peggy will show you further, that there will be different needs in the different potential CCIs. So hopefully this will also be an overview of the effects that the capacity building will have on the potential CCIs, because it will be a possibility to do a reassessment again, to see and to follow the development and the maturity within each individual CCI. So by that short introduction, I would like to hand over to Peggy that will walk you through in more detail of the maturity model. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. I'm happy to take over in order to give you some insights concerning the method and what actually the maturity model is, and also how we depicted it or we deployed it using a maturity model web tool. However, before I start with that, I would like to ask a question to all of you, which is, who of you is familiar with maturity models? Who of you knows what a maturity model is? Please raise your hand. That's good. So I don't have to skip the next slides. Okay, so I will show you what we actually mean by maturity model, what that concept is, and in the end, how we use it for the CCI maturity assessment and the decision for capacity building interventions. So, is this the, oh, great. Let me start by the general definition of what a maturity model is. It's basically a tool to break down complex problems in general into individual fields of actions. So the complex problem, or maybe it's not a problem, but the complexity we want to break down are the CCIs. And the fields of action are structured within these 8 themes. A maturity model is also a tool to define the target state, so where these CCIs could aim to develop towards. And also maturity models define the path to achieve these target states by defining manageable steps in order to achieve them. So we use this representation here as a matrix or table. On the left side, here you just see one theme, but in general, we have actually 8 maturity models, one for each of the 8 themes. These themes are broken down into sub-themes or criteria, and then we have different levels. For the CCI maturity model, we decided to go with 4 levels. So level 1 actually describes rather the planning steps in order to start working on a specific criterion. And then on level 4, this is like the target state you already or you achieved, and the focus is more on continuous improvement. And everything in between is helping a CCI to move forward from one level to the other concerning one criterion. So imagine this setup here, a CCI or potential CCI already reached level 1, meaning the CCI fulfills all of the criteria of this level already started working on criteria within level 2, but not yet achieved all of them, so also not achieved level 2 in this example. So we implemented or use a 100% mechanism in order to move forward from one level to the other. And as I said, a maturity model also describes the path, how to move forward. And here, for example, the next step would be to improve on criterion 2 in order to also reach level 2. And this will be supported by the capacity building interventions. So this just as the basis of understanding, hopefully, so that you know how this whole concept works. So, and as Eva already outlined, the process started with developing criteria and really intensive workshops with the experts. And this is just, too far. This is just a screenshot of 3 criterias of the theme patient pathway. And here you see it's concerning the requirements for patient pathways broken down into, it's 3 target states to be achieved. I can only read it there. Patient pathways, that they include the tumor-specific characteristics, that patient pathways support the enrollment of patients, as well as to encourage the conduct of studies, and patient pathways including the patient perspective. This just as an example, and you can imagine it's a really big list of criteria. And then also here the proof of achievement to really reach that target state was described. Then we had to somehow translate that into the maturity model. So translating these criteria and criteria descriptions into, or to level it up. We called it leveling the criteria up. I show you an example here with the different colors. For example, the decision here was to put this criteria here in green into level 3, etc., etc. So we distributed the different criteria across the levels of the maturity model. Just to outline again, if you reach level 3 or start working in level 3, that means that you already fulfilled all the criteria within level 1 and 2. Okay, now we had really a lot of beautiful Excel files with all the criteria in the different levels, but now we wanted to give a tool to the potential CCIs in order to assess what their current maturity status is. So we used an online survey tool, which you can see here, and translated all the criteria into survey questions, which was intensive work again. Here you also see the examples how these criterion here in green is translated and now part of the answer possibilities in the online survey. And then in the end, we could see within the maturity model what the status quo of maturity for all the potential CCIs that answered the surveys is. This is now a different view. This is a screenshot from the maturity model web tool, which I displayed here. So it's not the Excel again, thankfully, but a really handy tool in the end. So we have this view on all of the potential CCIs that answered the survey. You recognize the structure, though. Here on the left side, we have the 8 themes. On the top level, we have the 4 levels. And within this example, you, for example, see for the theme Comprehensive Cancer Center, already level 4 is reached, probably because it's a certified center. But here, for example, on theme structure of the CCI, this potential CCI already started working on the criteria within or of the first level. 3 out of 15 potential or of the 15 criteria within this level are already reached. So we used the color code of orange. And already also they started working on level 2 criteria, but we had it, or we displayed it in gray. since the ones on level 1 are not reached yet. So not going into detail of any specific CCI data now, but I wanted to show you the different overviews and dashboards that the web tool also includes and that were deployed. This is just an overview of different charts, and I would like to quickly go through them in order to give you an impression. This is bar chart view, and here this is actual data without you knowing what potential CCI that answered is behind it. We have different colors as well. They reflect the different scoring systems that we used in order to analyze these, in order to analyze the answers. Not going into detail here again, because Eva said it already, it's pretty complex. You see with the bar charts, we can compare in order to make the decisions for the capacity building interventions. Then in this view, spider chart, or I call it spider chart or radar chart, here I selected 5 of the potential CCIs that answered, and you can compare how far they already matured within the themes. Then we have a bubble chart. You see all of the CCIs that answered the surveys here, and here the top right corner would be 100%, meaning throughout all the themes, all criteria would be fulfilled. And you see the distribution of all the answers we have, pretty diverse from, all across the levels. I just saw my comment there. The size of the bubbles also represents the number of the affiliated institutions of the potential CCI which were involved in filling in the survey. So if it's a really big bubble, that means that 10 or even more institutions were involved in finding the answers to the survey questions. And this dashboard view, the CBI chart, may also be of interest for you. This chart displays the interest in capacity building across all the 8 themes that were mentioned by the CCIs that filled in the survey. They had 3, they could give their top 3 priorities across these 8 themes, and you see that the highest need or wish for capacity building is in patient pathways and in clinical research. Now, last but not least, data overview is this table. One line represents one potential CCI that answered. I just put a white box over the names here. And this chart displays for you how many institutions were involved by answering, or for answering the survey questions. So here it's 3 institutions, here's 1 institution involved. And also the color coding here on the left side represents which answer was given concerning this question in the questionnaire. The respondents to this theme are part of, and then these are the answers. If it's only 1 institution that answered, or if it's independent institutions, either all independent or some independent, that are formally or informally collaborating. And of course you see again which themes are of interest for each of the CCIs to have capacity building. And well, with this, I hope you got at least a glimpse of what the maturity model process was to develop it and how we used it and now represented data in the web tool. Highlighted here in green already what we would say already achieved within the last year of the project. Now, actually just last week or the week before, the expert meetings were in order to decide, based on the data in the maturity model web tool, what are the candidates for the deep dives. And I think that's it. Thank you very much so far.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Simon, Eva, and Peggy, for the nice presentation. It was, I know that it's not very easy in very few minutes to present all the design of the project and what translated into practice tools and surveys. Too bad we are on time, on schedule, but now we're supposed to start the next and the last session of the Oncology Days, but I think that we have at least time for one question if there is any need to have some clarification. Yes, Gennaro?
Okay, first, congratulations for the great amount of work that you have done. So my curiosity is about what are going to be the driving criteria for selecting the centers for deep dive, because I've seen that obviously the potential CCIs that have applied, they are spread along a very long spectrum. So the idea is to go along the spectrum, to select the deep dives along the entire spectrum, or to concentrate and focus on the more mature ones?
There were basically 4 criteria we took into account. Number one, did they want it? Did the respondents want a capacity building intervention in one of the themes? Number two, did they answer a good proportion of the survey? Because if they only answered perhaps one domain, then we don't have much data to go on, and we don't have much baseline to set for our intervention. Number three, we were asked by the European Commission to give priority to the less mature CCIs, actually not the more mature, but the less mature ones. So actually we started really with those and seeing, do they want an intervention, and in what domains do they want an intervention? And I can't remember whether there were any other criteria. I think that was basically it. We had long discussions. And there's another step of the process that I haven't quite mentioned. We've already made a selection of 12, and from those 12, in the next week, 9 will be chosen. And those 12 will all be offered next week a structured interview with the leaders to assess their readiness for change. So give us more detail about what you want to develop in clinical research. Have you got the resources to do that? Have you got senior leadership buy-in to make this a reality? Those kinds of questions. And then, and I suppose the fourth criterion is we have to be selective. Unfortunately, we don't have the money or the time or the experts to do lots of situations. So we'll choose different ones. We'll make sure that we do at least 2 that involve early detection and screening, for instance, or cancer registry. And we'll spread it around in that way. And that's how we make our choice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry to close this session, and I invite you to the next one, the last one, that is about the second project that OCI is coordinating, that is about the creation and validation of new quality of life instruments that should be available for all the member states and in all the European languages. So thank you very much.